Good morning and welcome back. So this is the beginning of week 2 and we're going to be covering check-in exercises. And last week we covered grounding skills, which is how I open up all of my individual and group sessions. And this week is check-in, which is the next thing I actually do in every individual and group session that I lead. So what are check-in exercises and why are they important? So check-in exercises are a way to take a moment and connect with how we're doing emotionally and mentally and check in with what's going inside of us. And so often in our society, we kind of separate ourselves from how we're doing, that we have so many things to take care of in a day, all the tasks of work and then paying bills and getting through traffic and then taking care of our family lives, that really allowing that moment to see how I'm doing is something that we may disregard for quite a long time. And there's also traumas that happen throughout our lives, whether they are small t traumas or large t traumas. And like small t traumas, I once heard of it as anything that wasn't met with affection. So it could be when you were a child and you were super excited to share with how the day went and your parents were just too busy that day. And that's a normal part of life. It happens all the time and it's okay. But if it happens repeatedly, that child could take away that it's not okay, or what I have to feel isn't that important. And others don't care, and why should I care? And kind of that separation from the emotional self. And it's so important for us to remember all the times when people did care. So like with your partner, he or she or they might be struggling with something at work and they just don't have that time to connect with you that one day. And yet, if you reflect back on the relationship, maybe they have been there for you so often, and it's really just a handful of times that they haven't been able to show up. So when those handful of times do occur, it's important for us to reflect on all the times that they have been supportive, as a way to support us in maintaining, not being affected kind of by the small t trauma. And if the partner's frequently not there for you, then that's something to look at. So let's start jumping into the exercises. Also check-ins are a part of warm-up. So the beginning process of the session is about taking off the armor that we might be wearing all the day. To expect a person to come into session and immediately be vulnerable and emotional might be a very high and unrealistic expectation. Next week, we're going to go over more warm-up exercises. Sometimes after the check-in, people will be ready to work and you can just jump in. And sometimes they're going to need a little bit more support taking off that armor. So, and lastly, all information that you get from a check-in is useful in the assessment. And it's data that you use to what we'll be working on in that session. So I think that's all I have to say about check-ins. Let's jump into the first exercise. So I use a collection of keys for one of my check-ins. I have a lot of different props and I love them. The tactile nature really helps people get out of their head. So I pass around this container of keys and people will be looking through it. And I have these keys that look like they belong to pirates and keys that look like they hold like open love chests. They have hearts and say I love you. I have just normal keys I got at the hardware store. If you ask them for any miscut keys, a lot of times they'll just give you a box of keys. So you'll get the ones with smiley faces and rainbows and just, the regular metal ones. So people will be looking through this. And someone who might have just said, I'm fine, might actually pick up the pirate key with skull and crossbones and say, I'm really feeling dead to myself today. I'm not really feeling any emotion. I'm just feeling that things are kind of hopeless right now. And that is so much more information for you than that person saying I'm fine. And that is really supporting that person and checking in and really noticing how they're doing. The next person might get the box of keys and pick up the heart key and say, for the first time in a long time, I'm actually feeling love for myself. I didn't really know this was possible, but today I'm just appreciating everything I've been through and offering myself compassion for the mistakes that I've done in the past, and it feels really good. Again, a lot more data than I'm doing well, you know. So check-ins give me information about what I might want to work with those clients, like supporting that client and looking more at feeling that dead to the self and lack of emotion. How can I support that client in reconnecting, or to really examining what is connected to that feeling of death for them. And for the client that's doing well, I really want to anchor that self-compassion and self-love in, and those might be themes that I connect with throughout the session. Yeah, I think that is it for the key exercise. I'll show an image on my thumbnail of this video so you can see what the keys look like. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you'd like to see more of, what content has been helpful, and I look forward to providing that for you. Have a wonderful day. Take care.